Hi, welcome to Teen Yoga. So today I'm going to be using hand weights. So you don't have to use the hand weights if you don't wish, you can just do the practice without. If you don't have hand weights, you can always use water bottles, but make sure they're even on both sides, or a can of beans or something like that on both sides equal. So we're going to come to the front of the mat. We're just going to place those hand weights down either side of the mat, or water bottles, whichever you're using. Bring the feet so the hip width apart, toes in heels, just soften the knees slightly, take a roll of the shoulders up towards the ears, back down towards the hips. Take a close of the eyes, turn the palms forward and just take a couple of moments here in standing position. Breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out through the mouth. Breathe in through the nose. This time close the lips and breathe out through the nose, unless you have to use your mouth if you are holding any colds or allergies. Relax those shoulders back. Slight micro bend in the knees. Try and feel like you're hooking that tailbone down towards the floor. And we're trying to draw that belly back towards the spine. Tether the ribs and hips towards each other to give that core connection strength. Maybe lift through the chest a little. Squeeze the shoulder blades together a little. Tuck that chin just slightly under, just to give that space through the back of the neck. Grow tall through the crown, but ground through the heels and the balls of the feet. Little feather-like touch with the toes on the mat. Pushing into the inside edge and the outside edge, the heel and the ball, so we have that full grounding to the mat. Take a scan of the body from the top to the bottom, just checking how you've arrived in practice today. When you've checked in with any issues that you have with the body, that might be a lot, it may be nothing. Just make sure you be mindful of those as you move through your practice. Take an opening of the eyes. Take a breath in, keeping the palms facing forward, bring the hands up towards the ceiling. Try not to change the stance of the body. Take a breath out and bring those hands back down towards those thighs, leading with the little fingers. Then lead with the thumbs, send those hands up towards the ceiling. Keep the shoulders relaxed. As you breathe out, send those fingers of the little fingers down towards those thighs. One more time, raise those hands back up towards the ceiling, bringing those thumbs together at the top. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Then send those hands back down towards those thighs. Roll the shoulders up towards the ears, back down towards the hips. Start to tuck the chin into the chest. Then start to roll through those shoulders. Roll through the upper spine. Let the arms become heavy. Start to curl through that spine all the way down to the lumbar spine. And as you start to curl that lower back, bend those knees. Just bringing those fingertips to touch the floor, chest onto those thighs. Take a hold of the weights, one in each hand. Bring the weights in front of the body. And then start to curl up back through that spine, keeping the arms long, keeping the head heavy. Let the head be the last thing that uncurls as you come to standing. Roll the shoulders back. Turn those palms forward with the weights in the hands. Breath in, raise those hands up towards the ceiling. Bring the weights together at the top. Still facing those palms forward, bring those hands back down towards the outside of each thigh. Remembering we've added some weight now. Lift those hands again back up to the ceiling. So I'm only using 1 kilo weights here. I don't suggest to go any more than 3 on each hand. Slowly release those hands back down towards those thighs. Always remembering you need to be equal on both sides. Breath in, raise those hands again, back up towards the ceiling. And your breath out, release those hands back down towards the thighs. Always having those palms facing forward. Breath in, start to curl through the elbows, bringing those weights up towards the shoulders. Palms face inwardly now towards the body. Breath out, release those hands back towards the thighs. Try and keep the elbows near the side of the waist. Breath in, lift those hands back up to the shoulders. Breath out, slowly release those hands back towards those thighs. And again, breath in. Lift those weights. Keep those tailbones hooked under. Nice tall spines. Breath out, release those hands back towards the thighs. One more time. Keep those knees slightly micro bent so we protect through the joints of the knees so we don't hyperextend. Breath out, release those hands back to the thighs. Turn the palms in to face the thighs this time. We're going to bring the arms into abduction, so just to shoulder high. Breath in, raise those hands up to shoulder high. Breath out, release those hands back towards those thighs. And again, breath in, raise those hands. So it's the back of the hands coming up to the ceiling. Then as you breathe out, release the palm of the hands back in towards those thighs. 2 more times. Raise those hands back up towards shoulder height. And breath out, release those hands back to the thighs. All the time keeping that straight anatomical position with the body. Breath in, bring those hands back up to shoulder height. Breath out, release those hands back down to the thighs. Step your right foot back to the back of the mat. Come into our low lunge position. High lunge position. Still keeping those hands by the sides of the body, palms facing in. Straighten that back leg. Bend into that left knee. Tuck that tailbone down. Breath in, lift those hands all the way up to the ceiling, palms facing inwards. Try not to flare the ribs as you get to the top. Breath out, release those hands back towards the body. And again, breath in, raise those hands. Keep the arms as straight as you can. Lifting up through the arms, softening through the shoulders. Breath out, release those hands back down. 2 more times on this side. Breath in, raise those hands. Lift them up towards the ceiling. Try not to flare the ribs. Keep the ribs and hips tethered. Breath out, release those hands back to the sides of the body. Step forward with the right foot. Step back with the left foot. Bend into your right knee, straighten your back leg. Hook that tailbone down. Breath in, raise those arms up towards the ceiling. Keep those ribs and hips towards each other, shoulders relaxed. Breath out, release those hands back down by the side of the body. And again, 3 more times. Breath in, raise those hands. Breath out, release those hands back down towards the side of the body. 2 more times. Relax the shoulders as you lift those arms. Palms facing inwards all the way to the top. Breath out, release back down. 1 more time on this side. Breath in, raise those hands back up towards the ceiling. Breath out, release those hands back down. Step forward back to that right foot. Breath in, turn the palms forward, raise the hands to the ceiling. Breath out, release those hands back by the sides of the body. Palms facing forward, back of the hands facing back. 2 more times. Raise those hands all the way up towards the ceiling. Keep the shoulders soft. Breath out, release those hands back down to the thighs. Keep that tailbone hooked under, belly drawn back. Breath in 1 more time. Raise them to the ceiling. Breath out, release back down towards those thighs. Stepping your left foot back to the back of the mat. Drop the back heel, turn the shoulders and hips towards me. So your right knee's bent, so we're taking warrior two legs. Hands down by the sides of the body to start with. Palms facing in towards those thighs. Breath in, raise the hands up to shoulder height. Breath out, release those hands back to the thighs. Draw the belly back, tuck the tailbone down. Breath in, push those hands back up to shoulder height. Energize through that left leg, pushing it into that floor. Release back down. On your exhale, 2 more times. Breath in, raise those arms up to shoulder height. Breath out, release those hands back to those thighs. 1 more time. Breath in, raise those arms. This time we'll hold it in warrior two arms. Take a gaze towards that right hand. Sink into that right knee a little further. Draw that belly back. Tuck that tailbone under. 1 more breath here. Then bring that left arm down, around. Come up onto the toes of the back foot. Arms up high. Bring the hands back down to the sides of the body and step forward back to the back front of the mat. Roll the shoulders up towards the ceiling. Send them back down towards the hips. Then step your right foot back. Drop that back heel. Stay bent into that front left knee. Turn the shoulders and hips now to the right side of the mat. Push into the outside of that foot on the right leg and the whole of that foot on the left leg. Same on this side. Breath in, raise the arms up to shoulder height, palms stay facing down. Breath out, release them back to the thighs. Breath in, raise those hands back up to shoulder height. Breath out, release back to the thighs. Keep that center of the body in between those feet. Breath in, raise those arms back up to the ceiling. Grow through the crown of the head. Breath out, release those hands back to the thighs. 1 more time. Breath in, raise those arms, and this time hold it in warrior two arms. Take a gaze towards that left hand. Make sure you stay sunk in the hips, the left knee bent. Right outside edge of the foot, pushing strong into that mat. Strength through those deltoid muscles around the shoulders to keep these arms lifted with that extra weight. 1 more breath here. And then bring that arm down, around, send it up to the ceiling. Lift up through that chest. Then bring those hands down by the sides of the body. Step forward onto that left foot. Take a roll of the shoulders and a little paddle through those feet. Bring those feet wide apart. Take a nice long deep breath in and a long breath out. Raise up your right knee up to hip height. Then send that right leg back to the back of the room, bringing that torso in line with the floor. Right heel pushing back, right toes back to the shins. Keeping a nice long body from the crown of the head to the heel of that right foot. Breath in, raise that right weight towards the chest. Breath out, release back towards the floor. Breath in, raise that left weight up towards you. Breath out, release back towards the floor. Breath in, raise both weights towards the chest. Breath out, release back to the floor. Hold it here just for a breath. Then open the arms out wide up to shoulder height. Release back to the floor. Slowly bring that body back up straight. Bring that right knee back through up to hip height. Raise the arms again back up to the ceiling, palms facing in. Breath out, release those hands back by the sides of the body. Bring your right foot down. Bring your weight onto your right foot and lift that left knee up to hip height. Start to send the body forward, bringing the arms to hang underneath the shoulders, left heel pushing back, left toes back towards the shins. Hold it here for a breath. Left hip in line with the right. Breath in, raise that left arm up to chest height. Breath out, release back towards the floor. Same on the right side. Breath in, raise that weight up towards the chest. Breath out, release that back towards the floor. Breath in, raise both weights up. Breath out, release those hands back towards the floor. Your next breath in, lift those arms up and out to the side, up to shoulder height, palms facing down. Breath out, release those hands back towards the floor. Raise up through that body. Bring that left knee back through up to hip high. Raise the hands up to the ceiling, forward, palms facing in. And then release those hands back down to the sides of the body. Release the left foot back to the mat. Both feet hip width apart. Your next breath in, raise the arms to the ears. Palms facing in. Your breath out, find chair pose. Tuck that bum down. Draw that belly back. If you wish to release those arms to the chest, hands together in the center, feel free to do so, or work that anterior deltoid muscle to keep that arm lifted on both sides. One more breath here in this position. Then bring the hands to the chest. Hook your left elbow over the right knee. Make sure the left knee stays in line with the right. Then raise that right hand towards the ceiling and the left hand down to the floor. Hold it here for a breath. Then bring those weights back together in the center or hands. Turn, lift the hands back up to the ceiling. Bum stay low. Then fold over those legs and just allow that body to relax. Maybe come away from the floor a little bit and just the weight of those weights in those arms, let them traction those shoulders. Take a bend into both knees, feet so the toes are in front of the heels. Raise the arms back up towards the ears with the weight or bring them to chest center. Keep low in that seat, chair position. Gazing forward or just down. Bring the hands then to the chest. Right elbow to the left knee and twist around to the left side. Right knee staying in line with the left. Send the left hand to the ceiling with the weight in, maybe gaze to that thumb. Send the right hand to the floor. Open the chest out to that left side. One more breath here. Then bring those hands back together. Allow the body to fold over those legs. Let go of that head, nod and shake that head a little. Then place their weights at the side of the mat. Bring the bums to the floor. Heels to the front of the mat. Bums into the center. Make a little roll through those shoulders. Maybe shake through those wrists a little, shake through those arms. Taking a hold of those weights again. So we're going to flow in and out of a forward fold. So push the heels away, toes back to the shins. Maybe just remove a little flesh from under those sit bones. Nice tall spine. Your breath in. Raise those hands up towards the ceiling. Try not to flare the ribs. Keep the ribs drawn back, but raise the arms as much as you can. Try and expand the chest. Relax those shoulders. When you take your next breath out, bring it with control, either with long levers or bringing them in a little bit. The longer the levers you have, the harder it is to control the weight of those weights in the hands, bringing those hands down to wherever they reach. So that might be that you're back here and you're just onto those shins. It might be that you're quite far forward next to those heels. Just let the head go. Let the head relax. Then start to curl up through that spine, bringing the hands back in towards the body with the weight. Send those hands back up to the ceiling, palms facing in. Your breath out, come with the arms back to shoulder height, palms facing up. Breath in, raise those hands back up to the ceiling. Breath out, bring those hands back to shoulder height, all the time keeping that spine nice and tall. Breath in, raise the hands back up to the ceiling, push those heels away, toes back to the shins. Breath out, release those arms back to shoulder height. Working on those internal deltoid muscles, working on those biceps and triceps. Hold it at the top for a breath. Then as you take your next breath out, fold from the hips, bringing those weights down nice and slowly to bring them eventually to the floor. And then just let those shoulders relax, let that head curl. Have a little nod and shake of the head in this forward fold. Then bringing those weights again back in towards the body. Raise them up towards the ceiling. This time we're going to take a rotation through the waist. So bringing your left hand forward, your right hand back, rotate to the right. Turn the palms up to the ceiling. Try and keep both feet nice and level, get the twist from the waist. Breath in, raise those hands back up to the ceiling, bring the palms together at the top. And then take it to the other side. Right hand forward, left hand back. Turn the weights up, the palms up towards the ceiling. Can you see how my hip is hiked here? I'm a little tighter on this side. Try and send the feet back and twist through the oblique muscles on the waist. Breath in, raise those hands again back up to the ceiling, facing the palms in. Breath out, fold slowly back over those legs. Bringing those hands down slowly towards the floor and let go of the head as those weights meet the mat. Take a couple of breaths in forward fold here. Bring those hands then back in towards the body. Just place them at the side of the mat. Take a bend into both knees. Bring the bum into the center, just making sure you've got space for that back to lay all the way flat on the floor. Take a hold of the weights again. Hold them out in front of you, shoulder height, palms facing in. Breathe in, elongate that spine. Breathe out and slowly curl down. One vertebra at a time. Slowly bringing those spines slowly to the mat, using that extra weight to help you control it down to the floor. And when the heads meet, bring the arms up so the hands are stacking over the shoulders. Bring the feet a little further into the bum, feet hip width apart. Breathe in. Breathe out, slowly let those arms lower towards the floor to hover. Breath in, raise those hands again, back up towards the ceiling. Bringing the palms towards each other at the top. Slowly again, let those hands release with control. Just bringing them to hovering off the mat. Then bring those hands again back up towards the ceiling with control. Try not to use momentum. Try and use slow, controlled movements to work those muscles. Next breath out. Keep allowing that control as you release down to hover off the mat. Keep pushing those lower spines into the floor. Your breath in raises those hands back up towards the ceiling. Bring those weight now to sit onto the belly. So we've just allowed them to sit in between both hip bones. Place the hands onto those bellies and to hold and control where those weights will go. So they shouldn't move from your belly. Take the elbows away from the mat, the gaze up to the ceiling. Push into the feet, slowly curl up one vertebra at a time. Bringing those hips up, bringing the chin towards the chest, push the shoulder blades down towards the front of the mat, and then feel like you're drawing the feet towards the shoulders to activate through those hamstrings. Squeeze those bums a little tighter to lift those hips a little further. Try not to let the knees splay any further than hip width apart. Hold it here in extension for one more breath. Then with control, slowly and mindfully, bring those bodies back down to the floor and to meet those tailbones on the mat. Bring the outside of the right ankle onto the top of the left thigh and turn that right knee out. This time we're going up into a one-legged bridge. So find that support in that left foot, the right knee turned out, right toes back to the shins. Try and keep the hips level as you raise up again, one vertebra at a time. Bringing those chests in. If you need to let the elbows release to support, feel them on the floor, or keep them away just to challenge the balance a little bit more. One more breath up in this high position. And then again with control, slowly replace that spine back to the mat. And as we always do, same on the opposite side. So bring the right foot down. Make sure those toes are in front of the heels of the right foot. Bring the left outside edge of the ankle onto the top of the right thigh. Left toes back to the shins. Control that movement, control that pelvis as you slowly raise those hips. Squeezing the bum on that right side. Trying to keep the elbows away if you can. Remember, this extra weight on the belly is either something you wish to have or not. It can be as challenging without the weight anyway. Try and balancing on those shoulder blades, keeping that left knee turned out, but try not to let this left hip drop. Keep squeezing that right bum cheek to lift the hips high. Push strong into that right foot. Then with control again, slowly making your way down onto the mat. Release those weights. We've done with those weights now, so just let them go to the sides. Bring the arms into cactus arms, knees together, and heel toe the feet out to the edges of the mat. Then take the knees over to your right side, the gaze over to the left. Feel that stretch through that left hip flexor. Try and encourage that left knee down towards the floor as much as you can, and that will help get into that outside IT band on that left thigh. If you want to encourage that right thigh down a little further, bring the right hand onto the top of that right knee and just allow that body to relax over to that right side. Maybe turn the gaze towards that left elbow. Take one more breath here. And then bring those knees back to the center. Let them drop internally for a breath. Internal rotation of those hips. Then take those knees over to your left side. Drop that left knee down. Maybe help it with that left hand. Try and squeeze that right knee as close towards the mat as you can take. Activate that muscle in that right leg. Those inner adductors to squeeze that right knee down. Maybe gaze towards that right elbow if the neck is happy. Relax that right shoulder. Lengthen through the side of that right waist. Taking one more breath here. Then with control, slowly let those knees come back into the middle. Let them drop internally for a breath. Then heel toe the feet back into the center. Bring the knees into the chest. Give those knees a squeeze. Maybe make circles with the knees in one direction on the ceiling. Then maybe take those circles to the opposite side. Then take one more squeeze in towards the chest. Release the feet then to the floor. Bring those legs out long. Let those feet drop out to the sides, mat width apart. Turn the palms towards the ceiling. Let those fingers gently curl. Take a turn of the head in one direction. Bringing it back through center. Take it over to the other side. Bring it back into the middle. Take a nice deep breath in. Long sigh out through the mouth. Another deep breath in. Long sigh out through the mouth. Another deep breath in. Out through the mouth. Then either keeping that breath going like that, or just bring that breath to your own automatic breathing. Just allowing the whole body to relax to the floor. Everything supported at the back of the body by the mat. The front of the body feeling light and lifted on the inhale. And the back of the body feeling grounded and stable on your exhale. Close the eyes, let the tongue drop away from the roof of the mouth. Let those lips gently part. Let the jaw relax. Taking just your natural breath now. If thoughts come into the head, bring the attention back to your breath. Soft inhales, soft exhales. Breathing in deeply and breathing out completely. So your choice can to be either stay here for the rest of practice, for the rest of the time you wish to be laid here on the mat, no rush. But when you're ready to come out, wriggling the fingers and the toes, stretching through the arms and the legs, arching the back, maybe bringing those knees into the chest, maybe rocking from side to side, making your way into a seated position, either energetically or passively, whichever you wish to do. But if you're staying here for longer, have peace in your thoughts, have your peace in your words, have peace in your hearts. From my heart to yours, Namaste.